All right, really quickly, standards to improve. NFPA 55, talked about it. I urge you to require it. It goes at UL 9540 and 9540A standards. We now have UL 1642, 2251, and 4900. It talks about things like our plugs and our outlets. We're about to take a break, but I'll pass it around. We sit there and start seeing our plugs and outlets. I had a meeting just earlier last week from UL. Gosh, it was a painful meeting. They talked for 4 hours on dropping the plug outlet. Are we going to go 45 degrees or 22 degrees, guys? How many times do we want to drop this? Oh my gosh. I'm doing this painful work for you, all right? So this is the J1772 to the Tesla. This is an Amazon fund delivery that I ended up doing. You guys ever have a beverage or 16 and go on Amazon, and you find out you bought the craziest stuff the next day? It's like, people buy T-shirts and cat stuff. I buy electrical stuff. So this goes from the J1772 to a Tesla plug. So a CCS to a NACS plug. This was $29. Decent weight, works pretty decent. Once again, this is where I want you guys, especially fire investigators, I want you to understand, hey, this is not this. Don't let batteries be the cigarette of our generation. It's not always the cause. This one was $19.99, $10 less. This is from the NACS to a CCS. It's just it's the opposite way of that, right? Feel the weight of that one. And start thinking about, I'm able to buy this for $20, $30. Here's the big ones. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Actually, we're going to be talking about that right now. There's your first QR code. This is a that's for a level 1 or level 2 charger. This is for a level 3 charger. So this is a CCS, or this is a CCS level 3 charger plug, which is direct current. The high charge, fast charges we see at the gas stations and hotels going into a Tesla. So this, and it's amazing instructions, which I'm betting most people who have looked at Amazon, they know the instructions were in perfect English, no spelling errors at all, no weird spacing at all, and it said 250 volts maximum. Our level 3 DC fast chargers are pushing between 500, 600, 800, pushing over to, we're looking at 1,000 volts DC. When I sit there and take a look, feel the weight of that one. It says max 250. I can plug it in, it'll still take the 500. And I start taking a look at this. That QR code should be going to an article that Captain Chris Green and I wrote. When I say him and I mean he wrote it, and I did a little bit of technical review. I helped him on a few of the things on the finer details. One of our pushes is for e-stops in these areas. This is a level 1 charger. When I take a look at a level 1 charger, this is 115, 110 volts. 20 amps is what it's supposed to be for, but it works 15 amps as well. Most people just plug it into a 15 amp. When I plug this in, this J1772 plug into anything but a Tesla, and I plug it into the car, it charges the car slowly with 120 volts, very slow amperage as we go through this. The e-stop on this is literally the breaker of the house, or yank the cord, right? I'm not going to say that 120 volts is not dangerous. It is deadly. But firefighters and responders in the house, have you dealt with 120 volts throughout your career? I'm betting some of you have probably been bit. I've been bit before. I get caught right here when I'm using a hand tool or a removing tool when I'm trying to do overhaul. And you get a line, oh gosh, right? Sucks, it's miserable, but it's not always deadly, right? It still is deadly, but it's not always deadly. We're used to that. Level 2 chargers, those are the bigger boxes. Those are the bigger plugs. Those are the bigger outlets. Our dryer plugs, our air compressor plugs, our big welder plugs. This is advertised on Amazon for an EV/dryer outlet. So I plug it into the wall, I plug one side into the dryer, plug one side into the car. Is the house designed to power both of those at the same time? No. Don't always blame the battery, right? Don't always blame the battery. I'll leave that up here. We don't need to pass that one out. It's just 2 wires, right? So we have better ways to do it, and I'll talk about the fun box when we get to investigation here in a little bit. But as we continue to go through this, can we deal with 220 volts? Have we dealt with 220 volts, response community? Yes, I'm not going to say it's not deadly. It's absolutely deadly, but we are used to it. It's AC 220 volts. DC fast chargers are 250 volts DC, 500 volts DC. We're going upwards and upwards in our voltage, and it's direct current. When I went and charged up my hot rod down at Buc-ee's, you know what I didn't see there? This. What is this? It's the emergency stop, isn't it? The e-stop. This is what Captain Chris Green and his mission has been on. We ended up working on trying to get this enacted. When I went down to Buc-ee's, I asked the question. They couldn't confirm, but I want to ask you the question right now. When I hit this at the gas station, what happens? What happens? You don't get an answer. You already got a sticker. What happens when I push this e-stop? Huh? Nope, not for a car at a gas station or a regular life. When you got a car accident, car runs into a pump. Is one of your tactics and SOPs that you're going to think your officer is going to give you is go hit that stop if it hasn't been stopped yet. What are you expecting to happen?
The fuel stop.
The fuel?
Yeah.
What fuel? What fuel? It's going to shut the power of the pumps, right?
Yes.
Gasoline? Diesel? CNG?
Not standard, but normally that stop is for gasoline.
Gasoline
liquid
and
fuel.
diesel.
Fuel.
All of the fuel distribution at the facility. NFPA 30A requires all fuel distribution to be interconnected with this. Fuel is gasoline, diesel, compressed natural gas, any of my flammable and combustible liquids. I don't have commercial CNG sales up in Washington State, but we do have a CNG facility for a municipal bus company. And there's e-stops everywhere. And when we tested it out, it has to shut off the gasoline, the diesel, the CNG, everything per NFPA 30 standards. They ended up requesting in NFPA 30A standards that this be attached to the level 3 DC fast chargers at gas stations, like at Buc-ee's right down the street. They missed it by 1 vote. So right now, when I push this button down the street, it will shut off all the fuel. It will not shut off the DC level 3 fast chargers. Those Teslas will still be under charge at the gas station. At the same time, I'm kind of glad they failed. Because if they would have succeeded, it would have only been at gas stations. At every other facility across the country right now, this is not required by law. You know what? I told you the power of Control-C/Control-V. I literally copied everything that was rejected from NFPA 30A, and I went to NFPA 70, the electrical code, which covers everything, and I put it in for a submittal. Please update this in NFPA 70, section 625. Please. We're waiting. It takes time. You don't need to wait. Fire marshals, you can copy that, and you can take that, and you can say it's required for level 3 DC fast chargers. There's a whole wide world we have to start thinking about of an EV on fire with direct current electricity that we have never dealt with. We need to isolate that energy and have a confidence that there is an isolation of energy. We have to, right? We have to. You get that over there? I saw you pop up your phone. Okay, want to make sure. Pre-planning, wrapping it up right here before we get onto a break. If you don't have proper codes, if we don't have everything else, pre-planning is a key. Get out, check your first dues, know your regions. Fire marshals, help us out. There's a program that I have in my jurisdiction. I'm not advertising it, but it's a great program. It's called First Use Size Up. When I get a plan review for a solar panel or an energy storage system across my desk, I check it, and then I go on over and I log into First Use Size Up, and I put the icon on the house, and I give my firefighters a heads up. At 2 in the morning, my first responder via cell phone, tablet, MDC can pop this up, and they see that information. They need that information. That doesn't give us everything, but it gives us something. And if we don't have everything, we can at least use our eyes. I see that on there. People are greedy. Americans are greedy. We know that. They don't like to give things away. People that buy and spend lots of money for solar panels, they're either going to sell the power back, and if they can't sell the power back, they're going to keep the power. To keep the power, you need an energy storage system. I'm going to assume there's an energy storage system in this house. Whether or not it's true or not, I'm going to make sure and identify. I want to rule it out, right? False positives.